Hello! So good to see you today. It's a nice, cozy, warm evening at the end of August. And that means that the school year is approaching, and that's the first time that I'm not going to school. And it's such a weird thing to think about, generally, because I've spent my whole life in the cycle of studying, resting, and so on and so forth. And this is the very first time that I'm not going back. And September means practically nothing to me. This is a very interesting observation. A good thing to think about, but honestly, just insane. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing great. This episode is a little bit different. As you can see, I'm on my bed. And I decided to film this one in my bed for actually a very interesting reason. It's connected to what we are going to talk about in this episode today. Bed is usually associated with comfort, usually associated with something nice and cozy, and this is something that we will all need. This episode, something we will all be very thankful for, because we are going to talk about finding, losing, and regaining your life path. So initially, this idea was proposed by several people whom I talked to during different times, and many people that I acquainted have stated that my life path is somewhat unique and different. I'm not claiming to be special in any way, but I would say that the things that I have gone through is pretty special and potentially can teach someone something. Honestly, I haven't written like a full script to this episode because I was mostly thinking that I will have to talk a lot. Not read the script, not follow the story, but talk. Just let it all go. And most of the things that I've written down for myself are just like simple data, things of a little bit more scientific nature. The other things that I will talk about are mostly related to personal experience and how I've gone through things and how it affected my perception of the world. Eventually, it turned out to be more of a collection of advice rather than sharing my personal experience, but still, I feel like this set of advice will definitely be helpful for those who are stepping into the adulthood. Hope you like this one with a little different setting. Get cozy, get warm, and we're gonna try to make something out of it. So the main idea of today's episode is there is no correct life path. There is no correct way of living your life. Period. I want everybody to write that down on a note, stick it to your head or to your mirror. I'm stating this because people have long talked about how to live life. They've written books about it, they're talking about podcasts, they're filming movies about it. There is a whole culture built around how you should live your life, or how someone lives their lives. Yeah, how a rich person lives their life, how a mindful person lives their life, how a successful person lives their life. There are many media examples of people trying to teach other people how to live. Generally, societies determine various very important life decisions, such as education, job employment, marital status, and so on and so forth. In some cultures, it's very encouraged to go pursue education, pursue high education. In other countries, it's encouraged to pursue family matters, be connected to your family. It all differs from society to society, from culture to culture, and it's specific due to certain environmental factors that have shaped the society. But despite all of the differences between those societies, they all want to kind of put on this pattern, or put together a pattern that would be like a perfect formula. So you should go to the university, get a bachelor's degree. You should go get a master's degree, get a higher degree if it's a very respected job. You should, at the same time, you should look for a partner. You should find yourself a partner. You should build a family with them. You should have children with them, and so on and so forth. You should start saving money, get a mortgage, buy a house, retire your parents, retire yourself, live a happy and long life. But these things are patterns. These things are limitations within which we live. And the most interesting things is that naturally, biologically, humans are inclined to feel better in limitations. We feel better when we either personally establish boundaries or we are being put into limitations or into some kind of borders. Limits provide structure. Structure provides stability. Stability is a fundamental human need. It starts from a simple daily routine that you establish for yourself and ends at building societies like today, with governments that establish laws forwarded to people to follow. And of course, because of the feeling, because of the neural pathways and the connection of the biology with the psychology of the human body, we are always wondering what is the best formula for everything, including our life. We always want to know what's the best scenario to follow, because it's much, much easier to follow a specific scenario that will guarantee you a perfect life. Humans thrive best in limitations and restraints. But when it comes to the way of living your life, it is not only a personal choice, but a personal responsibility. And it is the next factor that plays a huge, huge role in your life path. Responsibility is a massive challenge that many people face at a young age, around their 20s usually. As I once heard, your whole life was ruled out before you turned 20 or around that time. You went to school or to kindergarten, then went to school, you finished school, you went to college, you went to university. When you become free, that means you become responsible. You become responsible for your personal decisions, for your life. You become responsible for every single step you take in your life. And you are now in charge of what you are going to do tomorrow, what you are going to do next month, what are you going to do next year. When you live your whole life within established limitations and with established rules, you face a big challenge that is practically freedom. Usually freedom is described in the most positive way possible, and I agree. Freedom is amazing. It's an amazing concept. It's something that every human needs and has to have. But freedom has a flip side, which is the responsibility. So if we add responsibility and limitations, it's easy to conclude that the only emotion that people are experiencing during the time when they become free, which is responsible, is fear. Now let me explain myself. Fear comes from the lack of stability and security that limitations provide. Remember, security is stability. Stability is the fundamental human need. And so limitations that have been established previously provide you as a human being with a feeling of safety and stability and assurance of your tomorrow. And this process of becoming an adult is usually so rapid and so swift. Many people get lost during this time because they graduate university. Their first thought is, what am I going to do with my life right now? Because nobody really prepares you for it, as to say. People are talking in vague concepts. Oh, you need to find a job. Oh, you need to build your network. Oh, you need to find a partner. You need to do this, this, and that. But the key difference between your whole life before and your life right now is that there will be no rules. There will be no directions, and there will be no specific guide as to what you are supposed to do. Because as in before you became an adult, you had a specific set of rules and a specific guidance that you've been provided with. As into, you go to school from this time to this time. Your parents give you, I don't know, a choice. You do sports or you do some art, and you pick one. But you still have your life ruled out by other people that establish rules that you follow. But when you dip yourself into the adulthood, you realize that there is not one person that will be able to tell you what to do, where to go, where to be, whom to be, and so on and so forth. And because this period, this time of change is so unexpected, so rapid, and so kind of indecisive almost, people are making sure to implement the same system they followed previously in their life by having a guide to follow in their adulthood. That's why we see books, that's why we see movies, that's why we see podcasts, that's why we see influencers, all of which well, my microphone died, so there's that. But let's continue. The last thing that I talked about is responsibility and limitation. When you are lacking limitation, you instantly start lacking stability, security, and safety. And this, of course, causes fear inside of you because you have no idea what to do with all of the free will that you now have. I was inclined to talk about this topic firstly because I was asked to talk about this topic, but because with as much modesty as I have, I would say that I have a couple of things to preach, possibly, to teach, to explain to people so that they could understand yet another perspective on this giant and well talked about topic. Surely, I'm not a psychologist, I am not a life coach or anything like that, but what I know can be helpful to some people who are looking to find answers as to why they feel lost, as to why they are fearful, as to why they don't know what to do with their lives. And I want to come here to tell you that it is completely normal. I am talking from a standpoint of a somewhat established adult. I'm not claiming to be completely established. I have so many things that I aspire to do, but I have not done in my life. And I have so many things that I consider my life goals that I have not even come close to achieve. So I'm definitely not the person that has finished and completed their life purpose. Definitely no. But I am someone who has gone through the same feelings. I am someone who also has been lost, and someone who has also been looking for these answers and has been looking for these solutions and this advice from someone else. What's the most important thing about life? Life is not constant. It is not a constant thing. That's the first thing that you have to learn. You can never hope that your life will be perfect. You have to be ready for the challenges that this life has to give to you. No matter how hard these challenges are, you have to understand that this is part of your life purpose. The big part of anyone's life purpose is to fight their challenges, is to face those challenges and get through them. Change in your life should be perceived as something exciting. And I'm telling you this as a person who has gone through change that was not that exciting. But honestly, looking back at all of the experiences that I've had, I may say with 100% confidence that I am grateful for these experiences, because what these experiences do in the first place, they build you, they teach you. As unfortunate as it is, you will have to face various challenges in your life, and some of them could be much deeper than your boyfriend is breaking up with you or something else. As simple and as weird as it sounds, your challenges are not your losses. Your challenges are your lessons. As a person that had experiences that made me feel very down at times, very crashed and broken down, I have to mention the fact that you in your life are your biggest support and your biggest motivation. You have to establish such close relationship with yourself, with your body, and with your brain that you will make sure that anything you say to yourself, anything positive that you say towards yourself, will be perceived by you as not just some pep talk, but as the most truthful and the most motivating thing in the world. You have to be your first cheerleader. You have to be your first supporter. You have to be your own foundation, this strong core that builds you, that makes you strong and repels all of the negativity from you, all of the insecurity from you, and makes you, simple as that, believe in yourself and pursue more in your life. I cannot even talk much about it, because this is so fundamental and this is so important in anyone's life, to establish a relationship with yourself that will feel like a supporter of an achiever. I learned to tell myself that the things that I go through are not just bad situations. These are the things that have come to my life to test me, empower me, and prepare me for things to come in the future. Every step you take higher and higher is another life lesson that you get to learn. And by moving upwards on this ladder, you can gradually go through and be able to bear more devastating things in your life. The more you learn with each challenge you go through, the more strong you become to be able to face even harder challenges. And I know it doesn't sound all bright and colorful. I get it. But this is something that needs to be talked about more than the beauties of adulthood or the beauty of freedom. Because mostly people who get into adulthood, specifically those people that do not really get deep into the challenges of adulthood, and they mostly focus on the positive side of freedom, they usually resort to not the best things, not the best things in the world, because they perceive freedom as only the free will, practically. They perceive freedom as will to do whatever you want with your life, whatever you want with your body, whatever you want with your brain and mind. And that's something that most people resort to. And that's okay. And it's a completely normal reaction. It's a completely normal phase of life, especially either after becoming an adult or after going through a very devastating challenge or a very devastating heartbreak or something that just generally broke you down. It's very common and it's very normal. I need to point that out. It's very normal to resort to certain behaviors that you would not resort being completely chill and completely stable in your mind. Because we remember that the first thing that you lose when you go to the adulthood is stability. So it's totally okay to be scared of your life not being stable anymore. And as a result, resort to certain behaviors that they encourage some emotions, they encourage a feeling, and it's kind of this rush for adrenaline and rush for positive hormones in your body. And it is a completely normal stage, if it's a stage, of course, and if it doesn't get bad and dirty. So the main points that I wanted to talk about, based on my experience, I won't be going too deep into it because I feel like it's totally doable for me to just explain the things that I wish I knew when I was going through certain things, without having to emphasize on my personal experience. So I made a little list of main points that I think you should at least put in your brain for consideration when you think about adulthood, approaching adulthood, or living as an adult. So the first point for me was very important, and for many people, even those that you guys watching right now, for many of you, it's a common experience, it's a shared experience for us, is leaving home and moving to a different city, moving to a different country, and living on your own. I got to experience this at a very young age, and it has been a very tough challenge for sure, but I am also extremely grateful for it, because out of this experience I became much more mature and much more concentrated on my goals, much more I kind of developed the tunnel vision for the things that I want to achieve in my life. And I think that this experience of moving into a different country at a very young age helped me prioritize certain things in my life, and remove unnecessary things from my life. So the first thing that I thought, actually, when I started thinking and kind of mapping out my my list of points, was Young, Dumb and Broke by Khalid. I feel like this song perfectly represents the feeling of moving to a different country when you are young, specifically because you literally have no aim in your life. You don't understand much about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, who are you going to do this, and so on and so forth. There could be different stages of your life that you move to a different country in, right? There could be things like mine, moving to a different country to pursue education. I moved here because I wanted to go to the university here, But eventually I decided to stay here and continue living my life here. But for other people, moving to a different country could be an employment reason. For others, it could be just simply a wish to change the scene. And there could be many, many more important and not so important reasons to move to a different country. But you have to understand one thing. You have to map out your final destination. What I mean by this is, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I moving to this specific country? What do I want to achieve here? What do I want to make sure happens here? And just generally, what is this decision gonna bring into my life? What am I gonna win with this decision? Because for many people, they have a wish to move to a different country, but they don't have a final destination. I'm not saying you have to know specifically, I'll stay in this country forever, for the rest of my life. No, not a bit. I'm talking about final destination more as in purpose, more as in the reason that you are doing this. You have to have a reason that would be fundamental enough for you to be motivated to go through all of these challenges of immigration. Because let me tell you, immigration is not an easy thing. Not at all. You will always feel like a foreigner in every country you go, and your own country. As a person who've lived in a different country for 3 years, every time I come back home, I feel so weird. I feel so left out. Because you know what? This city has been in my life for many, many, many years. The city that I'm from. It's been in my life for so many years. And then I left it for 3 years. It's unrecognizable. It's much more different. The people are different. The atmosphere is different. The environment is different. It's like almost you breathe a different air. And that's something that you yourself have to understand. If you are immigrating to a different country, but you have something to come back to in your home country, let's say it's going to be your family, you will feel a very big difference. You will feel like it's not your city anymore. You may feel like you don't belong here anymore, and it's totally fine. And these are totally valid emotions, and I completely understand them, and I honestly stand by them. I stand by them because to me it's a sign of development, and to me it's a sign of change. That means that you have had capabilities to change so much that the city that built you is now foreign to you, because you managed to assimilate into a different culture so nicely that you may feel more home in the country that you are residing in than your home country. And that's totally normal feeling. Another important thing to consider, well, when moving to a different country is, of course, having a safety pillow. This goes as far as just having a savings account, agreeing with your parents for them to help you out, anything. If you're moving to a different country for the purpose of job, I feel like that's probably the most amazing outcome, the most perfect outcome, because you have honestly the most important part of your life figured out, and the rest is gonna come with it. The job, the employment is probably the most fundamental thing that you have to establish when you're moving to a different country, especially when you're an adult and you're not seeking education or anything, you're just seeking adult life. Yeah. Employment is your top one priority. You have to understand the place that you go to. You have to understand their culture. I didn't have the time and opportunity to study the culture of the place that I was going to, but I was motivated enough to quickly assimilate and quickly learn. about this culture, about those people, about these things that are inherent to this specific country. Assimilate, accept them, and most importantly, respect them. This is very important. When you move to a different country, I swear to God, you have to respect the country that you're staying in. You have to respect the people. You have to respect the language. You have to respect the traditions. Make sure that you show off as the most respectful person in the world, because you have to be grateful. You have to be so grateful for the things that a different country does for you. Last thing is find a community. At least a small one. Have a friend. Someone that shares the same feeling as you do. Some people say make friends with locals. It's a good way to assimilate yourself. It's a good way to immerse yourself into the culture. But I say make friends with immigrants, just like you, for a different reason. Make friends with an immigrants to unite with them over the common feeling that immigration brings. You will get much closer to the people who feel the same way about moving to a different country as you do. And you're going to find a community and you're going to exhale, because you will understand that you are not the only person that goes through this. You're not the only person that has all of these issues, that has all of these feelings, emotions, and problems. You are not the only one. There are a lot of people just like you, and it's totally fine. Now, the next set of advice about adulthood is going to be under this name of understanding your purpose. So, of course, understanding your life purpose is probably the hardest thing in the world. I'm not gonna lie. People spend their whole lives to find something that will spark their soul, something that will bring them up, and something that will make them feel so enlightened, so motivated, and so inspired. And you have to understand that it could take years to find something that will make you feel this way. My first advice, be lucky. That's my approach. I got lucky because I understood what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be at a very young age. It kind of sparked me in one moment and I couldn't stop thinking about it till this day. I can't stop thinking about it. This is just pure luck. There was no special rituals that I've done, nothing like that. But you can get lucky, and by chance, you can find something that will make you understand that this is your life purpose. But to be lucky, you have to do another thing. Research. A lot. Go on the internet and honestly just scroll forever. Find all of these different positions, different life choices. Go into the depths of, let's say, TikTok. Think of a career that comes to your brain. Think of it. Google it on TikTok. Put it in the search bar and look at the people who live this life. Look at the people who pursued this career. Are they happy? Do they look happy to you? Do they look fulfilled in this job? What do they have to do to have this job? What do they have to do to have a good life having this job? You have to research so much. You have to fulfill yourself with the knowledge constantly. It has to be one of your most important responsibilities in your whole life, to educate yourself every day more and more. Learn new things every single day. This will make you come to your life purpose much quicker than sitting around doing nothing and hoping that it will just come to you. But you have to put effort to get a result. Simple as that. With research will come finding connections. You will find people who are also interested in things that you are interested in. People who are also kind of like lost and thinking about what they should do. This is key to your mental calmness, to find a community that shares the same feeling. That's something that I talked about with immigration. Same thing applies here. Finding a community that shares the same feeling as you towards a thing will make you feel much more calm, much more collected. If you know that you are not the only person that struggles to find a job, you are not the only person that struggles to find their life purpose, or this or that or the other thing, this is going to make you more calm. This is going to help you focus on things that will actually bring you results. Because, of course, stress takes up, first of all, a lot of physical energy. It takes a lot of mental energy. And when you are constantly in the stress, you don't have any energy left to actually pursue some actions towards your future. That's why you have to eliminate any possible stress, any possible irritation, any possible distraction from the mental side, so that you can focus your mind on the things that you want to achieve instead of the things that worry you. My next advice is, don't be afraid to try new things, new hobbies, a job you never thought of. I don't know, investing, crypto, whatever. It's so diverse these days. These days, life can be so diverse. I cannot even specify. I cannot even say, oh, the job market is so colorful and bright and different. Oh, I don't know, the amount of hobbies that you may have are so diverse. No, I'm literally saying your life and the possibilities of how your life can develop, there are millions, billions of them, billions of options. You have to study the world around you. This is one of the most important rules of adulthood. You have to know how this world works. You have to understand politics. You have to understand economics. You have to understand what the hell is happening in this world. This is fundamental for your safety, your success, your literacy, your life choices, and your probability to being controlled. You don't want to be controlled. Of course, I'm not saying that it's like possible to not be controlled at all. I feel like, on the flip side, I feel like it's impossible to not be controlled at all. I feel like today it's impossible to not be biased. It's impossible to not be subjective, at least a little bit. There are people who are extremely educated on a lot of things and they come close to objectivity, but I don't believe that there is such thing as objectivity in today's world because of such big volume of information that we consume every day, and with so much volume of opinions that are out there, and people are voicing them out every single day, and you consume them. So you have to be acknowledged as much as you can about the situation in the world. Where is it bad? Where is it good? You have to know all these things. Embrace the fact that it will be hard. You cannot live your whole life without making any mistakes, especially devastating ones. You cannot. That's it. That's impossible. That's it. I don't even have anything to say about it. It's impossible to live your life without making any mistakes. And anybody that hopes to not make any mistakes, I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but it's not gonna happen. You cannot live in your own bubble for your whole life. If you want to have a different life, if you want to have a life that is risky, successful, or interesting, you're gonna have to deal with some bad stuff. You're gonna have to. A loss of someone, poor health, relationship, career, friendships, finances, everything. You have to go through all of these things. But on the other hand, even though you will get hurt, you will get broken down, You will be devastated. The thing that you will be remembering the most and the most vivid is how proud you are of yourself. You will be so proud of yourself for going through these things, for going through these challenges and fighting for your life, that you will probably forget exactly how bad it was. You will probably remember more how you got out of the situation, and you will have the feeling of pride for the longest time in your life. So that's a good thing. Also, very niche fact, by the way, very niche. But I think I have to mention it. You will neglect your health at some point. All of the adults that I know, they have gone through a period of their life when they had massive health complications. I'm saying like a serious illness. It can be a mental disorder or a mental illness or a mental breakdown. It can be both physical and mental. It could be either. But I'm telling you, each adult that I know has gone through a certain illness, either physical or psychological, and you will probably get through it as well, because it's part of the adulthood. I cannot much explain it, but I just feel like it's one of the necessities of living the adult life. And lastly, among the big advice, appreciate yourself first. That's what I said in the beginning of the video. You have to establish such a beautiful relationship with yourself that you will trust yourself. You will know that you can go through any obstacle or any issue in your life. You will be able to accomplish so many things in your life. You have to have this trust. You have to have this beautiful relationship with yourself, because at the end of the day, you are the first person in your life, and you are the most important person in your life. So you have to appreciate yourself first. You have to put yourself first in important parts. You have to take care of yourself. Take big care of yourself. Be very careful about your own state, both physical and mental. You have to be careful about yourself, because now you are the only person that is responsible for themselves. No one else is responsible for you but yourself. So you have to make sure that you appreciate yourself and you love yourself so much to take really good care of yourself. Hey, it's Alisha from Post Show. So my microphone died yet again, but conveniently enough, it died right at the time when I was going to finish the video. So at this point, I want to say thank you for watching this episode today with me. I hope you have the great rest of your day. In future, I hope to avoid these kinds of situations like today, but I hope I handled it well and did not cause any type of discomfort while you were watching the episode. This is the first part because I am planning to talk about this topic a little more, as we have not really covered the part of losing your pathway and regaining it in the future. So I'm thinking we are going to expand this video to the second, potentially third part. So please let me know what you think about it. If you want to hear a little bit more about it, maybe you want me to share a little more of my personal experience, or a little less, who knows. So thank you so much again. I hope you have the great rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.